I want to share with you a letter that I received sitting on my desk right now from a high school student talking to me about how he's not sure how to help his friends who have now taken to drinking almost every day just to get through the day because it's been so hard for the last 2 years. And he somehow found my name to reach out to as a plea for help. And I think this is not unlike what we hear. We heard you talk about it, Superintendent, about the uptick in violence in our schools here in Rochester and across the state. I truly believe that those are a direct result of unmet mental health needs in our students. And that is where we should be putting not just school resources, but citywide and statewide resources as well. So you mentioned, because my colleague Selena Bronson asked, you mentioned that you did get approval for federal funding to be used on mental health providers to properly meet the needs of your students, of our students. Can you tell me how many openings do you still need to fill? You mentioned that you haven't been able to fill all these openings. How many have you filled and how many have yet to be filled?
And I just want to make sure, Senator Brouk, that you're just solely referring to mental health.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So we currently, of our current staffing, we have 2 school counselor openings, 2 social worker openings, and 6 school psychologists. And I'll just add 77 classroom teachers. So even though they're not mental health providers, they do provide supports of consistency for our scholars, but within the ARP that which just is approved, we need 16 additional school counselors, 5 additional social workers, and then 11 full-time youth intervention aides through pathways or something similar like that. So we do have a lot of openings. I am reaching out to our local colleges and university, Robert, St. John Fisher, U of R, et cetera, but so are all the other Monroe County districts.
And how many do we currently employ for RCSD? How many social workers?
Social workers? Give me just 31 seconds or less. I can send that to you. I do have that, but
okay, wonderful.
Okay,
you can follow up on that. And then the last question in your 18 seconds is, what we know that there's a shortage of staff for social workers all over the state and the country. Mm-hmm. What can the state do to help address this?
The shortage of social workers? A few things. I think certainly it comes back to us of really encouraging that pipeline and getting students to consider that to be a viable option and an important option. Also, just working very closely with our higher education partners to really find out who is involved and who is participating in those programs, so that we can make that information more quickly and more readily available for school districts. And even in the case of school psychologists, they have an opportunity to do that school internship, the school psychologist internship, to encourage them to consider an urban environment. But I find sometimes that some of our recent graduates are shy away from urban education because of certainly some of the unique challenges. So really helping to normalize and encouraging or even giving incentives for recent graduates to consider working in an urban environment, because our scholars, as the rest of the Big Five would chime in, are incredible, amazing, and resilient.